Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of the C Word Chronicles podcast. I'm your host, Olivia.
And I'm your host, Ribu.
Ribu.
No longer a co-host.
No, you're my little host. I thought it was so funny when you were saying Ribu because I feel like lately we've been running into people who get nervous when you introduce yourself to say their name.
It happened today.
Did it happen today?
I met somebody at a meeting and I was like, what's your name? In classic San Antonio name, Rosa.
Rosa, yeah.
Can you say, yeah. So Rosa.
We love a Rosa.
And she was like, what's your name? And I was like, Ribu. She was like, nice to meet you, Ruben. That's probably the one. But it's weird because
you get that. You get Ruben all the time. Yeah.
Which
and
is
that's
weird.
Ruben's name.
Yeah,
you used to get, what was it? Oh shoot, I can't remember. But people get so it's the weirdest thing when you confidently say like, "Hi, I'm Olivia," and then you're like, "Hi, I'm Ribu," and they're like, "Oh, great, nice to meet you." Like they try to say it and then they back off and they back out of it. I just think that's so funny.
And some of them get it like completely wrong. Like I'll say Ribu and they'll be like Roger or Richard.
That's just what they want to hear.
And I'm like, what in the world?
Yeah.
Where'd you get Richard from?
And then it's so funny when we tell your parents about how hard it is for people to say their name and they're like, oh, like laughing. And then you're like, why'd you name me this?
Yeah. And then I've asked them that question, why'd you name me this for years, 32 years. And I've asked them in front of you too. And they never can tell me a straight story.
There's many stories, but your mom told me that it's because they saw the name in the Indian newspaper and they said, I like that name.
I'm like, what Indian newspaper? It's not even a word. Like Indian people don't even know what that means.
The Indian people don't even know how to say your name.
I think you were with me when we were at a wedding once and we walked into an elevator.
Oh, and there was another.
Yeah, and I was, but here's the thing. I thought more about that situation. We walked into an elevator and I was like, hey, what's your name? He was like, Ribu. And I was like, there's no, like at my whole life, I've never met another Ribu in an elevator at a wedding for somebody we know.
Well, granted, it was an Indian wedding and this person was Indian.
But I've been to so many Indian weddings.
Yeah.
And no one knew, I know.
They're like, oh, I'm Ribu. And you're like, Roger?
I was a groomsman at the wedding and the guy that was getting married didn't know any other Ribus.
Yes.
So what's the chances that, like, I think he was just messing with me.
No, he didn't know your name.
I'm kind of popular out there.
Okay. Anyways, guys, welcome back. This is episode 5 of the C Word Chronicles. We hope you've been liking the podcast so far. Today, we're getting into lots of stuff because we didn't get to shoot an episode last week because somebody was out of town.
Out of town, business, work.
Yes, we'll get into it. This booked and busy over here.
Booked.
But let's get into it. So weather update, humid as hell here.
Shoot, tell you what.
Humid, balmy. It is. It's hot. It's like spring is wanting. I feel like spring is here.
I said we're in full bloom yesterday.
You did. I sure did. We sure are in full bloom, but I don't think so. We're full bloom. Per my senora vibes watching the news this morning, I believe we do have a little bit of a front coming in towards the end of the week. Yes.
Like cold front?
Just a little snap, if you will.
What is that, like in the 60s?
No, a little bit lower, but not freezing by any means, so don't you worry. I feel like we should say the date, like what today is, like because everybody's going to be watching this later. So just to catch everybody up, it is March 1st, 2023.
Yes.
So weather updates. Rib, back to you with the sports update.
So I don't really have a lot of sports updates because I was out last week, but my sports update is going to be, there's a lot of trades in the NHL, and you're wondering, like, do I even watch hockey?
NHL? What's that?
National Hockey League, for those who don't know.
Wow.
Most people probably know. A lot of trades in the hockey. A lot of trades. And then we have baseball season going to start soon. Mm-hmm. We have golf that I've been following. Followed it heavy.
Mm-hmm. That was this weekend, right? You were watching the golf tournament?
Yes, there was the Honda Classic.
The Honda Classic.
Shout out to Honda.
Right.
Sponsor us, Honda. And then basketball All-Star game was really good. All-Star game was all right, honestly.
Oh, yeah. That was an entertaining little moment. It's so interesting. We were watching the All-Star game where the celebrities play the actual game. Yeah. But man, it is so crazy how it's either like they're so bad or actual NBA players are so good.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know which one it is. I'm sure it's more the NBA players are like so good compared to watching them. They all sucked. They like had horrible shots, but they were trying. They were like getting after it. And like, who was the little girl? Not girl. What's her name?
I was gonna say Erykah Badu, but it ain't Erykah Badu.
No, it's not.
Janelle Monáe.
Janelle Monáe, looking fresh, fly, gorgeous, but she didn't know what the hell she was doing. Yeah. And it was so cute. And she's so tiny. She's 5 feet. I think we looked that up, right? She's 5 feet.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she's looking so fly. I think she's so beautiful. So
I think she was playing in her sunglasses.
Hell yeah, she was. As she should.
I don't know.
As she should.
And then she shot her one shot. Somebody blocked her.
And somebody was like, no, I'm not letting you have it. I'm going to block it.
Yeah. You know what was also good? Guillermo.
Jimmy, who's that? Jimmy Kimmel's Guillermo.
He was the MVP.
He so cute. He's so short and round, and he shot the only shot, and it got stuck.
A little wedgie.
Yeah, it was so cute.
Little wedgie.
So that was really fun. That's kind of what's going up in the sports weather update. So yeah, we missed last week. So today's episode, we're going to be catching you up on last week, and then this week. What is today? Wednesday? Yeah,
today's Wednesday.
So lots to catch up on. Last week was Rib, which in the last episode we said you're headed to Houston for radiation, and you're back, and you're radioactive.
I'm radioactive, little mutant,
little Spider-Man. So before we get in, and so we're gonna talk about last week's radiation, and then we're gonna dive into the other big C word of the C Word Chronicles podcast. Last episode, if y'all haven't checked it out, we did the couples part, the C of couples for the Valentine's Day episode. Talked about our love story and such. And so today, the other big C word we're gonna talk about is CEO.
CEO,
baby. But first, let's get into our first segment, Peaks and Pits. Do you want to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first. So first one is I got a truck, and I'm built for.
Oh shoot!
I doesn't know the button.
I thought there was a clapping one.
I got a truck. I was going. I wanted a new car because I feel like this is a cancer purchase. Like you got to enjoy your life.
Listen, when you get cancer, baby, what my baby wants, my baby gets.
Well, first off, you weren't into it at first, so don't sit there and act like you wanted me to get a car. It took a lot of convincing,
right,
at first,
but. We got, my baby got a truck.
Oh, yeah, I got the truck. And so I went between a lot of cars. I was like, should I get another Tesla? So we have the Model X. Very blessed. And I was thinking, should we get another Tesla? And I sat in the Tesla Model 3. I was like, this ain't it.
What's the Model 3?
That's the sedan? Car, the small one. I was like, this ain't it. Then I sat in the Lexus ES. And I was like, this ain't it. How am I going to put Julian back there? And how
what's the Lexus? You have to tell me what is this a car as well?
This is a car as well. This is like a sports car. Not a sports car. Okay. I guess it is. It's a Type F. And I was like, I don't know. I can't put Julian back there. And then I was like, what do I want? And then I was like, something in my heart was like, Ribu, you're built for tough. Well, no, you're built tough. And I was like, what brand has that saying? What is it?
That'd be, what is Ford?
Ford
tough.
And so I was and this is why I think it was like a meant to be purchase. What was I looking at? So a couple weeks ago, I was looking at a Tesla Model Y at Cavendish CJDR.
Shout out.
Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram. It's a little dealership out in
for those who this
Columbus.
Is our country accent if we don't
Columbus,
right?
Texas. And I was looking a couple weeks out there. I was like, a Model Y, and I tried to get a good deal, but I couldn't get a good deal on it, so I just passed it up. And I was let's look at a truck, and I was like, I'm just gonna look at their website. And they had the truck that I kind of wanted. And so everything kind of fell into place. My parents happened to come into town. My dad drove me out to Columbus to pick up the car.
You and your dad are dangerous. You mentioned a truck and he was like, let's go.
Well, I think he wanted to do something for me. Like he's been saying how he wanted to take me to Houston for all my radiation appointments and how he wanted to kind of really help out. So I think this was his way of like, okay, let's just do it.
He was so gung-ho about it, which was hyping you up and it was great. It was such a bonding little time for y'all.
I got a Ford F-150 Lariat. Lariat, but I called Mr. Lariat. And it came with 24s on it, black rims. And shoot, I'm probably hit a couple curbs with those things.
You already did. Let's not lie to the audience.
What happened? I was going, where did I hit a curb?
First off,
at MD Anderson. Freaking curb came out of nowhere. Yeah, cancer patient's gonna run into that all the time. And so freaking curb. And it's one of those things when you hit the curb too, everybody looks at you like,
they're like, what is
it's like
that?
one of those, like, I feel like everybody's like, a collective gasp. So yeah, got the truck. It's been great. I've already put like 1,000-something miles on it from driving to Houston and back. But it's better than driving the Toyota Camry that I got.
Dude,
which
yes.
you wanted me to drive back and forth.
However, but like shout out, that Camry's been thick and thin.
And we're keeping it. It's been there.
Yes.
I actually have another peek.
Okay.
I got my own camera angle today.
Yeah. Oh yeah. By the way,
no, you guys didn't believe in me.
Ribu
Took
got
4
his
episodes.
Ribu got his own camera angle, and he's coming out here feeling like a diva.
Looking straight at the camera. I got my own camera angle.
Okay. You're not supposed to break the fourth wall and look at the camera.
I'm thinking eventually we'll take the camera away from you and put 2 angles on me. That's how much I think I'm gonna.
This
I'm
guy
gonna
comes back from radiation and feels friggin' like a model.
Yeah.
Stop looking at. You can't look at it.
It's like when you have an angle, you got to work with the camera. You know.
Speaking of that, we're doing our photo shoot for the podcast promo footage stuff after this. So you better bring the same energy. What's your other peak?
Oh, I have energy. Well, I said my 2 peaks.
I thought you said you had another peak.
Yeah, the truck and the camera.
Oh, that was your peak because you got your own camera angle?
Yeah.
Oh, I feel very honored that you think that's like worthy of a peak.
I mean, I had to work my way to the top.
You did. You proved yourself. Yeah. Hopefully the audience is liking. Well, let us know if you like this angle, the back and forth. So it's going to go back and forth where it's like us specifically. You're not going to get a pan out of us looking at each other. Yeah. Which I think is fine. We'll see. We'll see what everybody likes.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Ask me about mine.
Oh yeah. What's your peak?
Okay. My peak is we've been going to Austin. Me and my boy John, my right hand, my go-to. We've been like trekking it up to Austin to do some like business. Mm-hmm. And it's been fun. Creatively, it has been really, really fun. So I think in the podcast, maybe episode 3, I was talking about meeting the CEO of a brand up in Austin for coffee. And it kind of like turned into these other meetings again up in Austin. So it's just been really fun to work creatively with somebody. But also, as y'all know, I have my own social media business and platforms that I'm always trying to grow and stay really like on top of creatively. So it's really nice to be appreciated from somebody that I don't know who saw my work.
You've had multiple meetings, right?
Yes. So somebody reaching, I think it's just still so weird because I come from a medical background. Like I treat patients is what my background's in, right? Yeah. And now I don't. And now I like to think like I treat moms, like masses in terms of my reach is so much greater. So it's really, really cool and very surreal. And it's so surreal for somebody to see my work on social media, reach out to me to want to connect to help them grow.
Yeah, and it's not, they don't want you because you're a physical therapist.
No, it's everything else. And like I always told myself starting out doing this, I'm just going to stay as authentic as to myself as I can and stay in my own lane. I like certain things. I like style. I feel like I don't apply to a lot of like the mom bloggers who are very like gentle and like wear dresses and like listen to like aggressive music. And I don't know. I can't explain it, but like,
have you met those people before?
I sure have. No. They're all over the internet. Like the crunchy.
Oh, and not in person.
Even though not. So anyways, so it was really nice for somebody to reach out and see my authentic work and me being completely authentically myself and them wanting to learn more, grow, and be inspired by me. And so it was just really, really
awesome.
It was really cool.
Because it was different from anything you've ever gotten. Like you didn't expect someone to reach out to you for that purpose.
Yeah, so it got,
that's pretty cool.
It for sure got my wheels turning
the gears
in terms of like where I could take this, and I really enjoy helping brands or, founders or CEOs tell their story. I love storytelling. So I think in the future, if that's still something I want to do, that could be like a cool business venture too, where I have the insight of being like a content creator and an influencer, which I still don't know how I feel about that word.
Influencer. Do you feel like an influencer now?
No. But I am.
Will you influence me?
You know what I mean? Like, it's like, well, you kind of have to accept it. But so I think it would be cool. And it just got like the experience of getting your light turned on or like multiple lights clicking or something clicking in your head is so cool. And I never want that to stop either.
Like building something? Like
building something or ideas or because she said you should be teaching people how to do this. And I was like, oh shit, you're probably right. Like I could teach.
That's
like,
true, because you've gotten so much better at just editing and doing the little
things.
like
because I think it's just really cool because it's like, because I work on my craft, which is now content creation and creative strategy and stuff. Now I can continue learning and perfecting my stuff and then sharing it to other people who want to grow as well.
Yeah.
And that can turn into a business too. I think that's a really cool angle that I have a lot of perspective on, because I'm not like a what's it called? Like a social agency where they don't have like the behind the scenes stuff of doing the work, growing. Like I started from nothing, like zero, and you just grow.
I remember you posted your first post October 2020.
Yeah. Great. And I literally thought like nothing. Cliche, like nothing was supposed to happen, and then it did.
Yeah.
But it was a lot of hard work, and I think a lot of times too, that might be like a little bit of a pit, but like a lot of times too, people don't realize how much work it takes, how much consistency it takes, and how much like drive you have to do to continue to do it, because it's not all positive. This space.
Yeah.
So that was really cool. And then
you might as well go into the pit then.
You can go in your pit. I'll end on my pit.
Okay.
And then, but yes. So being in Austin's always cool. Austin's such a vibe. It's like such good energy.
Yeah.
And being with John was really great too. We got to know each other a little bit more. I feel like it was helping me like see where his head's at, where I can like help him, guide him, lead him.
He's a cool guy.
He's okay. He's all right. He's all right.
I like him more when you put the camera on me.
We'll keep him. So yeah, it was really cool. So, okay, what's your pit?
My pit was being away last week from the family.
What family?
This guy. Being away from my wife and love of my life, Olivia, who gives me support, and then our little rascal son, Julian. But
he's such a little rascal.
But yeah.
What are we gonna do with him?
We put baby gates up. That's all we need.
What are we gonna do? We always joke like, it's time to call the foster agency.
Yeah, that's what we said the other day when he started getting everywhere. We're like, well, let's go ahead and make that call.
It's about time.
Let's go ahead and make that call. But yeah, that was, I drove back and forth. But there was one day I was at home during my radiation week. But that was probably the pit, just being away, because that's the longest I've been away from y'all.
But totally.
And yeah, just like seeing Juji when I came back home and seeing y'all, and I was like, oh, I have to leave tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
That was a pit. I mean, we got through it. And we were just leading up to that whole week. We were just like, which is last week.
I know.
Of like, oh man, like I don't want to leave. But that was probably the pit for the week.
Yeah, that was. I think the anticipation of the week coming was really, really stressful too. I was so worried about it.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't want to be away from you from that long, because I think I've said in other podcasts, when I had my panic attack was because I was alone with Julian. Yeah. And I was like, I'm going to be alone for 4 or 5 days. Yeah. Obviously, my mom helps and connects and stuff. And like, it's not like you're ghosting, like your call and stuff. But like, I was so nervous. Yeah. I don't think I expressed
it. It went a lot faster than I expected.
It went a lot faster. I felt like I stayed busy. I felt like you stayed really busy there, which we'll get into, like what you were up to in Houston, the shenanigans you got into. Okay, let me do my pit. Okay, so this is why I wanted to do it last, because
girl, it's almost up.
We got to get into it. Okay, so I've been doing social media for about 3 years. Follow me at the Baby PT. I wonder if the people are like, who is this girl? Like, okay, the Baby PT. I help moms and parents and families connect with their kid, and I do a lot of mom empowerment stuff, women empowerment stuff. So I posted a video that I admit was not my most like flattering angle in my car, and I was.
But you've done car ones before.
I've done car ones before, and lately the trend on TikTok is you talk to your audience via TikTok, right? But you should be doing something, like you should be putting makeup on while you're doing it, so it keeps the audience more engaged, right? Yeah. So I got a bagel. And I talked about.
Were you eating the bagel?
I wasn't eating it. I think at the very end I was eating it. But I got a bagel at Starbucks, and I do this. I drop Gigi, or my mom comes and watches Julian, and I try and knock out as much work as I can. So I got my bagel at Starbucks. I'm like, I'm going to make a video talking about like why your baby isn't crawling.
Yeah.
But I'm going to be like putting cream cheese on my bagel. And like
everything bagel,
and like manipulating this bagel, because this is going to be the equivalent of like the makeup on YouTube or on TikTok, right? So I posted amazing comments like, this is so helpful. I'm trying this right away for my kid, blah, 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 right? Ribu's parents are in town 2 weekends ago.
Yeah.
And loving life. I love when his parents come. You know, it was super fun. I'm going to pull this mother effer up. And so reading the comments, everyone's like vibing, love it, right? And then I get my first body shaming comment.
Oh, man. You got it right when I got the car, too. I think I came home.
No.
Right before I got the car?
It was when they came. Yeah, it was that Friday when they came.
The day before.
Okay. So, oh crap, I can't find it. Okay, here it is. Okay, so I'm going to read the comment. Yeah. And I'm not going to name the person. I did on my stories.
Yeah, you did it. You did the next day?
I did. I was mad.
Called them out?
Called them out. Because all this to say, this comment was not from a woman. It was from a man.
Yeah.
And that.
Well, when you read what they said.
That took, yeah, okay. So here's what they said. Babe, period.
Oh,
babe.
They said babe.
They said, babe, you doing a great job, but as I told my wife, step up and fix your diet and get in shape. You are pretty, with the hard eyes face emoji. And I follow you because your contents are gold, but girl, I can't focus on the video like that. Like, go to the gym.
What the fuck, bro? Like, what? The crazy part is he's not commenting from his own account. He's commenting from his
I look
wife's
at the,
account.
obviously I see this and my stomach like drops, and I'm there like with Julian and your parents, and I'm like, okay, right? So I click on the username and it's a follower.
Yeah.
It's a mom, a new mom.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what? This doesn't make sense. Like, I was so confused. So then I came to the realization that this is the husband using the mom's account to comment shit on my post.
Like, we could just break down what he just wrote.
So
like calling you babe at first.
So it was very confusing, like when I read it, because I was like, wait, what? And then I was like, so of course, after reading it like 65,000 times, I was like, what the hell? So my knee-jerk reaction was to send them some choice words, and I will say that too. So they said this, and then I said, LOL, unfollow me immediately, please. Also, you have no idea what I'm going through in my personal life. You don't get to tell me anything, especially if you haven't had a child. Sorry, you can't possibly focus. You may want to get that checked out. And while you're at it, go fuck yourself.
Mm-hmm. Good reply.
Okay?
Yeah.
So I'm livid. I screenshot it and I send it to Rib.
Yeah.
He's like, sleep on it. Like, don't.
That wasn't my first response.
No. He's like, what, obviously like the appropriate, like, what the hell, blah, blah, blah. So we all go to bed and I'm like, babe, what? Because of course it's all in my mind.
Yeah.
He's like, just sleep on it and like, we'll figure it out tomorrow. I'm like, okay. So and it's so funny because this video, I was on my way to the gym. Hence why I was eating a bagel, because I hadn't eaten anything. Yeah. So I'm going to the gym the next day, which is Saturday. I have an awful workout because I cannot think of anything else aside from how this comment made me feel and how it's been distracting me on my workout. Mm-hmm. I just could not focus. So I told myself, I'm going to post this on my stories and I'm going to dump it and let it go. Yeah. And I did. And I posted it on my stories and I was very upset because I was upset that it occupied my brain for more than 12 hours. Mm-hmm. And I was upset that now I didn't have a good workout and I'm paying for these workouts. Yeah. Right. Like, you're making me you're wasting my money and my time and my workouts, like everything. Right. So I'm like, I'm going to just post this on my stories and I'll be done with it. And I just went off and I'm like, as a woman who the fuck are you as a man to govern, comment, or suggest anything about my body?
Yeah.
And I was just kind of going in this place of, this is just so typical.
It's just weird because like,
and not fair.
It's not. It's like even the way he said it was like I tell my wife. It's like, what?
Yes.
Your wife just had a baby.
And
like,
I look at, and I don't want to like, and I hope, if you're listening, honey, like
it
we
ain't
can
like
talk,
the dude.
but,
Like, it's one thing if this guy is like Mr. World, all body strength,
right?
But this is some normal ass.
But like, what am I supposed? Like in my head, I'm like, so what if you're Mr. World and a bodybuilder?
Yeah, I mean, still exactly. Like it's still, it's like not right.
You don't say that to
but this
a woman.
Dude is like, who is he? Like the police, like, or like
right.
God to tell you.
And I feel like that, like so anybody on social media probably has that too. They get like, the more you grow, the more publicity you get, the more followers you get, the more positive like viewership you get, the more the trolls come out. So I was always ready for this to happen. I have just been very lucky that I've had the most amazing, supportive followers that aren't just moms, that are men, dads, caregivers, grandparents, students. I have a lot of students who follow me. And so I have the most amazing followers. So in my head, I was like, this can't be a follower. They would never say anything like that to me. So it just goes to a bigger thing of like, why do I, as a woman, my instinct was, or my first initial thing was, oh man, I've grown so much, because a couple of years ago, if somebody told me this, I would have a complete breakdown.
Yeah, it's better than
I would have had, oh my God, like you almost feel like you're caught. Because and I said this on my stories, I'm like, I am the most stressed I've ever been in my life. This year has been a shit show of a year with literally from almost dying, having Julian, which I don't know if we talked about my traumatic birth story, to everything in between, and then to my husband getting cancer, like stress eating, comfort eating, not taking care of myself, we eating out, like just trying to survive.
Yeah, we haven't been at home barely.
It's showing, and I'm completely aware of that. It does not. I got it. Like I don't need you to tell me that shit.
Yeah.
But I thought it goes beyond that. It goes beyond the appearance thing to me, because I don't like how he prefaced, but you're pretty, so therefore your value is you're pretty. You should be looking better. You should be going to the gym because you're pretty. And I said, I have no value in being pretty. I have value in being a mother, a friend, a content creator,
but that's the thing,
an
right?
educator.
That's the thing, right? Like that's just, it's hard not to take it like hurtfully, but that's the thing with people like that. Like I just don't get his comment. Like the way he started, he called you babe.
Right.
And then he's like I tell my wife.
Right.
And it's like, wait, what? Okay. So you're going from there, and then you say, you're pretty, by the way. And then you say, get to the gym. It's like, what are you typing right now? Like,
right. And so, of course, in my head, I'm like
the idiotic nature of one person. It's like, what the fuck are you saying?
And I don't know if this person's like drunk on drugs, not mentally all there. So like, but in my head, I would have gone in that direction a couple of years ago. Oh, they're right. Oh, even if they are, it's still true. Yeah. Like the weight of what they were saying would have broken me.
Yeah.
But now I'm so confident in who I am that it just is very laughable to me. And that's a lot of growth. But however, to me, it needed to be spoken on, because men can't be getting away with this shit. Exactly. It's 2023. Like, you can't, even if your wife accepted you saying that, you have to know that that's your wife, baby. Yeah, that's not me. Yeah. You can't this doesn't fly with me. Yeah. You can't say that shit.
It's like on some personal level, he knew you, or
something. And that just isn't gonna work. So I shouted them out on Instagram, on my Instagram stories. I tagged the person. I said, "Come get your man," and I screenshotted this whole this comment, which they deleted after I gave them choice words. Yeah. And all of this.
Oh, what did she say to you after you posted on her stories? That was weird too.
It was very confusing to me, and then I read it and I was like, oh, I forget that people are a lot younger than me. You know, I'm a fully formed adult. They might be a little bit more immature and younger than me, because it just sounded very immature in terms of a response. So in the story, I said, username so-and-so and so-and-so, come get your man. Because remember, the dude used her username.
Yeah, yeah.
So I don't know the dude's name. I just shouted out the username. She was like, I'm sorry for what he did. That's troll shit level, like blah, blah, blah. I'm sorry. But sis, this ain't it. Don't start bringing me into this.
She called you a troll.
She's like, shoot, I have that screenshot as well.
Yeah, that was the weird part was like, she
was like, LOL, this ain't it, sis. I'm not saying what he said was right because I don't agree and I apologize for that troll shit behavior. But you don't got to bring me into it, a whole day later, a whole extra day later. I hope you can free your mind and find some kind of peace instead of coming after me. Don't let this social media shit get to you.
Like, bitch, you just, like, what the fuck are you talking about? How does that turn back on you? You're literally...
I was like, so I'm so proud of myself because I would have responded in a heartbeat, like, babe, like, and schooled her, right? But then I just took a minute. I was like, okay, we're not on the same page because your response is not how I would respond if you said something to somebody and you represent me. Like, I'm your wife, you're my husband, and if you're saying something to some woman who you don't know on your username or my username, then I'm apologizing on behalf of my husband, and that will never happen. We don't know their situation, again. Right? Totally.
But like
you don't now say like sorry for him, but don't bring me into it. Like, baby, you're a unit. You got to get that together. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Even if they're not a unit, like they could be just two people who fucked and had a baby.
Sure.
But like, it's the fact that she, to me, was like, don't stoop. What'd she say at the end there?
She's like, don't let this social media, let this social media shit, like, whatever.
That's the part that got me, because I was like, it doesn't matter what y'all's situation. I was like, but why are you, what do you mean? He just called you out for being fat too.
I know. I know, right? So in my head, I'm like, don't let the social media stuff. And I'm like, I have a very healthy relationship with social media. I know exactly my boundaries to set with social media. It's my business, but I know exactly how much I can tolerate for a day and so on and so forth. So don't start blaming that this is social media. And I know that she was saying, don't start getting dramatic and posting this shit on social media. But that's the exact same thing is people are like, oh, this is social media. Then I'm like, then don't post it.
Yeah, like don't feel comfortable posting it.
Like this is me. Like you're talking to a
Twitter
person.
Fingers.
Yeah, you're talking to a person behind this social media account, which I think people get very brave behind a username, an anonymous with no profile. Like people just like to troll and hate. And I was saying on my stories, insecure people and hurt people, you know, because no right minded person would say something
Very
like
true.
that.
Very well said.
So I just think as women, we can't be tolerating this shit.
We can't.
Thank you.
I agree. It is men too. We shouldn't be letting other men tolerate that.
Right. And accept and like, oh yeah, bro, like yeah. And this was right after the Rihanna Super Bowl thing where everyone was like, is she postpartum still or is she pregnant? Like she should be looking better if she's postpartum. It's been a minute. And who the fuck has been saying all of that? Men.
And women too.
And women, but like a lot of men were saying like, oh, you know, oh, she's still looking like she's still looking a little heavy. Like,
I think it was both men and women that would say that. It's just that's part of it though. Like the man commented on your post and then the woman also commented some shit to you too.
Right.
And it's like it's both sides, but it's like for men too, like first off, if you're gonna comment on somebody's post that they're fat, comment under your own account. Don't go through your girls.
I know.
Or some other girls.
I know. I just was dissecting it in so many ways. And at the end of the day, it's like thank you for calling me pretty. Yeah. I know I'm pretty. It's not where I hold my value. It's not a prefix for anything of what I do. Right. Like, and then I said, you know I'm a bad bitch as well. Like this didn't deter me. This just made me like more confident in who I am because at the end of the day, you have no idea like why my body looks this way, nor does any man know why a woman's fucking body looks the way it is. Yeah. Right? Baby, no baby, young, old, you just don't know. And it's none of your business. Yeah. It's just none of your business. And I started justifying like, we have been eating out. I haven't worked out. We've been eating a lot. And then I'm like, my husband has cancer, bro. Like I've been thinking death stuff. Like I've been having to like tell myself, my husband's not going to die every day. I'm still getting over this shit. I'm still getting over the trauma of having a traumatic birth with Julian. Yeah. And I started thinking in that regard, and I'm like, no, like this is not it. Like, I'm good. I'm a bad bitch.
Yeah.
My mamas are too. Like, let's get it moving. You correct the men.
Yeah.
And you don't tolerate that, and you keep it moving.
Follow her at thebabypt.com. I mean, at the babypt. At the babypt.
Yeah. So, anyways, that was my pit. That was very long-winded, but I had to get it out.
That was the pits.
Had to get it out. Okay, so let's get into
radiation.
Let's get into radiation. Last week, where I think we talked about on the last episode, like where you're getting it, where and why. So let's just do a refresh.
Total refresh is I have cancer, and that it's in my lungs, and I have a small spot in my right hip, specifically the acetabulum, but it's spelled ACE. And acetabulum is, I'm probably pronouncing ass like emphatically. Acetabulum.
Yeah, it sounds a little like
too much
like
ass.
Emphasis on the ass, but like it's acetabulum, right?
Acetabulum.
Right.
I'll say it a little quicker. Acetabulum is where your hip bone connects to your pelvis bone, right in between there, and there's like a little spot of cancer in there. So what they do is they do a little bit of like a radiation planning one day, and so I went in.
Yeah, we talked about you got your tattoos.
I got tatted up, and might get a sleeve because I got my first tats. Might as well just cover everything up at this point. And then I the next week is 5 days straight of radiation, and it was honestly.
Yeah, how did it go?
I mean, MD Anderson, they got it. I mean, obviously that's all they do. So they got it down to like a science of, getting you in and out. And people are so nice. And pretty much your day is centered around, they make appointments throughout the day. And so like Monday, I go in, they give you a card, you check in. And then from there, they call you back. You lay down on a table and they take your pants. For me, it's on my hip. So I had to strip my pants off. Like, there's ladies everywhere, too. And I'm not, like, nervous or anything because I'm naked, but it's just, like, I wasn't expecting, like, so many people around my dick. And so it's like, like I'm taking my pants down. And they're nice. They're covering you up with a towel so they don't have to see anything. Obviously, for me, it's a little hard.
No, you said that last episode. We needed a beach towel for the size.
And so
we get it.
Yeah, I mean, just letting the people know. There's people out there like me, too. And so they cover you with a towel, and that's it. Like, you literally lay there. They adjust the little machine.
Did it hurt? Was it hot? Did you feel nothing? Right.
You feel nothing. Literally, you feel nothing. You lay there. This machine's going in a circle around you, and they come back in like, all right, 15 minutes, 15, 20 minutes tops. The first day is probably an hour.
Yeah.
15, 20 minutes tops.
That's insane.
You just leave. And that's it. But when you're waiting in the waiting room, like, there's people who are in wheelchairs, and so I'm sure their stuff takes like a long time.
Oh,
like,
sure, yeah.
Elderly people just walking slower.
Sure. You vlogged.
I vlogged.
I told so for the YouTube. Obviously, these episodes are going to be on YouTube, but I also wanted like some vlog footage. I have everything from like Airbnb when you got your surgery, your neck stuff. Like I have everything. So eventually we'll get to.
I got all the pictures of the radiation machine.
Yeah. And, so I'm like, if you don't freaking vlog your radiation. Or at least like practice, because it takes a lot of practice.
It is. It's just the process of getting the camera out and being like, "Oh, hey, how's it going?" Or like the right times,
right? And, so I was so proud of you because you sent me some vlog footage and of the bridge that I think we talked about on the last episode of MD Anderson.
Although I'm an OG vlogger, John knows this.
Yeah, he is.
5 episodes. We might post those too.
We should.
2018.
Yeah, he vlogged for his Omega Sports Recovery.
Yeah. I was becoming an influencer back in the day.
Yeah, that was before a lot of this stuff.
Yeah.
But anyways, you vlogged it. So how was that experience vlogging?
It was, I had to remind myself I needed a vlog. And had to remind myself, like, this is a unique experience. And I'm sure someone who doesn't know the process for MD Anderson is like, it's interesting to see.
Yeah, I mean, just that quick like clip you sent me of showing me what the sky bridge looks like. I was like, oh, okay. I pictured it completely differently.
And it's a crazy bridge.
Yeah. And,
so big.
And so just connect. I think people will connect with that if, one, they're about to get radiation or they're about to go to MD Anderson or they just have that connection to it.
Yeah.
So
my ears itching. So that was like the vlogging part. I'm glad I did it because I feel like I would like even for me, I was like, what is radiation going to be like when I get there? Hopefully it helps somebody kind of figure out what radiation is.
And then
like.
it was only 15 minutes a day, except for Monday. You had some other appointments trickled in.
Yeah, I had a few other appointments. Had like a video appointment with the doctor where she's telling me like waiting for mutations. That's like the parts where you're like, you know, she can't answer if I'll be alive in 10 years or
yeah.
or
We
not.
talked about that. You called me saying like I met with Dr. Cabanillas. And it was fine, and it was great. And I think we had this revelation, wouldn't you say, babe? Like at the same time when we were on the phone, I was working at Starbucks, and you were obviously just got off the phone with her, that we had this thing where I feel like Rib and myself, and we are educated and very much know this, but I think once you get the emotion behind it, it just goes to the wayside of Rib has been wanting, or we have been wanting somebody to say, you'll be fine
and alive for the rest of your life.
Forever.
Life,
like you'll be good forever.
Yeah.
Or like this is nothing, you'll be fine in 5 years. Like you won't even like something very like extreme in saying. And we have been seeking that without knowing we're seeking that for so long. Yeah. And so you asked Dr. Cabanillas that, and she obviously couldn't give you
She's not saying I won't be alive, but there's so many facts, and I get it. Like you said, you just said it perfectly. Like we know, like, there's no way to tell. And
then it just dawned on me when you were calling me, and after that, like, wait a minute. No person, oncologist who works in cancer is ever going to tell somebody who has cancer that in 10 years, 20 years, they're going to be fine. Yeah. Because that's like a lawsuit type thing too. Like logistically, you would never say that. Yeah. And so for some reason that released some type of expectation that I'm like, oh babe, like this is what we've been waiting for, but this is never gonna, like nobody is ever going to say this because they can't say that. And I don't think it's exclusive to you a lot too. It's like, no, nobody who has cancer, like my mom who's had breast cancer, almost 5 years ago. Mm-hmm. I'm like, Mom, did they ever tell you you're going to be good in 10 years, 20 years? She's like, no, like nobody says that. And I was like, oh, what were we thinking?
Yeah. So I think I still want to ask that question.
Oh, totally. Yeah. And my mom said the same thing too. She's like, I wish, but it's just not the nature of when you have cancer that happens. Yeah. So I felt like that brought a lot of like expectations down and kind of brought us back to, I don't know, something that we could resolve together.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, and then also starting chemo soon as well. Mm-hmm. Looking for results. So when they took my tumor out, they test the cells in there to see like what specific mutations are in the DNA of that cell. And there's certain drugs that can target those mutations, which is a form of chemo without a lot of the same side effects as we know chemo. Yeah. Typically. And so they said they're going to call me last Friday, and I sent a message today, so I'm just waiting to hear back. I guess the results haven't come in yet. And so hopefully start that ASAP. That'll be my next trip. To Houston.
And we don't know when that is, obviously.
No. I mean, the next appointment's March 9th.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I just saw it right now.
Oh, okay.
And, so that's that. What'd y'all do while I was?
Girl, what didn't we do?
You and Gigi?
No, we didn't. We like hung out. Obviously, I shot.
You and Gigi hung out?
Yeah, it was nice because, especially in the evenings, it was just us. And I really, really focused on trying not to be scared of being by myself with him in the evenings. So every day I picked a movie or show to watch that I like told myself this is what I'm going to do after like I put Juge down. And that kind of helped versus like not having a plan, and then I would just spiral and think about you not being here forever and being a widow. And so that was really helpful. And then I just felt really good. Like I think because
you had a trip to Austin too.
And that was when was that?
Wednesday.
God, that seems like so long ago.
Yeah.
So that kind of like broke that up, and then my mom had to watch stayed the night on Tuesday because we had to leave really early to Austin on Wednesday. Shout out, Mom. Thank you for watching Gigi.
And we're in your house.
And we're in your house right now. So thank you. We love you. But it was nice. It was really good. I felt like very pleasantly surprised and pleased with myself. Yeah. With how like I did with Julian. I got a lot of work done.
Yeah, very true.
It was kind of
nice.
You're
very productive without me. Nice. Seemed like you were better off without me.
It was kind of nice. Wow, when are you going back again?
I should get radiation more often.
I think what it was though was because I knew you were having not a good time, but like you weren't. Oh my God, I'm like killing this. No, but I feel like it was nice. I felt at ease because you were at ease in Houston. Yeah. Like you didn't have any crazy, like there wasn't pain with radiation, or you weren't. Loose
bowels.
You weren't.
Probably the extent of what little radiation beams off my rectum. That's what they said, literally word for word.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Made you have like loose bowels?
Yeah, like this because the acetabulum was close to the ass.
Yeah. Oh,
so,
right.
It wasn't bad. I was like, I mean, I've been here, done that before.
Babe, are you ready to... we can cut this out if you don't want to talk about this. But since it's close to the
penile?
Yeah, should we talk about your...
fertility?
Fertility thing? Okay.
So, because it's close... Well, it's not... They weren't worried about my fertility. So, like, I was thinking in the future, I was like, man, if we want to have another kid, it's probably best I don't give some sperm that's radiated.
It's radioactive, yeah.
We become
a baby with like a fin.
Yeah, or a superhero.
Yeah.
Well, that'd be nice. But yeah. So I was like, let me just go get. Like I didn't know what it was called at the time. I was like, let me just put my sperm somewhere so like the good ones survive before radiation.
The Last of Us.
The Last of Us. And so I booked an appointment. So I had an appointment in San Antonio. I thought I was just so smart. I thought let me book it ahead of time in San Antonio. Shout out to San Antonio Fertility Clinic for giving me a good time. And so then they were like, hey, you might as well do it in Houston because it's free for cancer patients. So I was like, I'm going to have a little bit of me in San Antonio, a little bit of me in Houston. But they shipped to San Antonio to Austin. So I got Austin and Houston. Oh. And then I'm here pretty much going up 35. Got to get Dallas next. And so, but it's literally like the movies. You walk in and it's like, it's all women too, which is fine. Like all these places are women.
And they're probably like, hi.
So, yeah. And it's like, so I walked into San Antonio one and they were like, are you dropping off a sample or are we collecting? I'm like, Jesus. I'm like, at least take me, that's like, take me out to dinner first. So I was like, I'm dropping off. And so you sign all these consents, like blah, blah, blah. And they take you back. It's literally like, I'm being dead serious. You walk in, it's not even, here's the image I thought would happen. I thought it'll be like a nicer setting, like a dim light. There's like a massage table or something you lay down on and like, either music if you want to, or like some sort of VR setup. I'm like, we're in 2023. You know what I mean? Something
right.
A little bit more.
A little more comfortable.
I literally walk, it's a doctor's office. You literally sit on a chair like I'm sitting in now. And they're like, old ass DVDs.
Ew, that's just...
And magazines. And I'm like, I'm not touching this shit. And anyways, you do your thing and you just come in a cup.
Yep.
But the thing is, you come in a cup and like you put like a label on the cup. It's not like it hides. It's a transparent cup.
Yeah, those specimen cups. Yeah.
Yeah, and you just put your name and stuff on it, and you put it on this table. At the San Antonio one, I had to click a bell, like a loud ass bell that I'm done.
I'm dead.
So I clicked a bell, and I'm like, I finished. And like, I swear the bell was like, that's what the saying is, I'm finished. And some lady comes and she literally picks it up. She's like this. She's like, it looks good. And I'm like, is there enough in there?
You need more?
Because they didn't like fill up the whole cup.
Right.
Like it filled up what, like?
Well, it's not specific for.
Yeah, I know it was a big ass cup.
Yeah.
I'm like, how much is it in here? And anyways, they take it away, and I did the same thing a couple days later in Houston. That was more like nonchalant. It seemed like they'd been there, done that.
At that MD Anderson one.
In Houston. And they ship it off, check it. Sperm quality's high.
Yeah.
I'm in like the 180 million count, and anything better than 15 million is good. So.
But not to brag or anything.
Yeah, not to brag. Plus, like if something happens to me, Liv can have to do with it what she wants. Feel free to send it to others.
Down the drain immediately.
If you guys want a kid that's a good podcaster,
educated, cute, good facial hair,
there is specimens in
we'll
Austin
put the number to contact right here.
Yeah, and we'll give it for free.
Just come on by.
Yeah, just name him Ribu. That's the only thing you gotta do.
Absolutely. They're like, can't. The closest we'll do is Roger.
Or Ruben.
That is your brother. That's it. No, I think that's an interesting part because I'm sure we're not the only ones who's...
Sperm freezing is what it's called.
Right. And, I thought it was banking. No, it's freezing, yeah. So this is only for backup. So if you're going to get tested after radiation, everything, and like if that's good, then we're good to go. But like if not, then we have
the chemo hurts the sperm too, they said.
Yeah. So I think it's interesting because like when I got like body shamed with that comment, in my head it was just so laughable because I'm like, fuck you, man. My husband is banking sperm right now because potentially we like fertility is an issue for us. So like fuck off. You know what I mean? Like there's something so empowering with having this because I think it brings you closer together. Yeah. Because there's your conversations that you don't think you'd have so young.
For sure.
And it's so compiled because there are so many things. Like, we didn't know freaking fertility was going to be an issue until they were like, we got to do radiation on your butt, which is close to the stuff. Yeah. So, like, even that, like, emotionally, what a roller coaster, you know? And then you just have to keep going and, like, get it done. But it does, I think it just, like, brings you so much closer. Yeah, it gives you so much
conversations
like
too.
It's tough because I'm like, shoot, if you do die, like, what do you want me to do? You know,
even like the social worker MD Anderson, while I was getting my radiation, was like, called me. He's like, we have to go over your advance directive and living will. And I'm like, I was like, do y'all? That's the first thought. You're like, do y'all know something I don't know?
Yeah.
But she's like, no, we just got to go over this with pretty much everybody. You know, anyways, but it's like you got to have the conversations of like, if I'm a vegetable, do I get off?
Right.
This, and I'm like, I'll take this home.
Yeah. And you got to think, I mean, it's just a lot of things to think about. It's so emotionally draining. It's it's like literally such a roller coaster and comes in waves with things like, you know, from advanced directions to infertility and like directives and like sperm stuff and like making, and then so I'm like, okay, well, when do we have our next kid? Should we have it soon? Or like, does this mean this is like IUI type stuff, like where they implant that, and I don't want to do that, or like this or that? So it's all of these things that we're just not ready to talk about, but it like forces you to talk about it. And luckily, I always think about this, like, ladies, when you're looking for a partner, I hate to be this girl, but it's my experience. Like, you better find a partner who, if they get sick like this or have cancer like this, is in such a state where it's a team effort and they're ready and willing to work. You're ready and willing to work together. Mm-hmm.
That's good. Thanks. Was that a compliment?
Yes, of course it's a compliment.
I can tell it's a team, both of us. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, cause I feel so like, and it's so cheesy, but like I feel so blessed and lucky that
well, both ways too, right? Like, you could have been like, well, you have cancer. I'll see you later. I'll see you later.
But I do. I'm like, man, what a person to go through this with. Mm-hmm. Obviously, you are the one going through it, but like, you've been, you know, so positive and. Even starting this, like, been up for stuff like this. You haven't let it get you like down and
well, you give me motivation too to do all this kind of stuff. I wouldn't have done this if
I just think it like such a perspective of like, man, I got really lucky in that on picking you or marrying you or like just being with you. But you know, I think some girls, per conversations with John about these little girls around
Tatiana's,
these thought and bopping everywhere. They don't value the same things I value. So girls, you got to value some good values in a boy.
That is a very nice compliment from you. Well, it goes both ways. Like, I wouldn't be this strong if you weren't holding it down everywhere else.
Thank you.
And then doing the CEO shit too.
Right. Let's get into it. First off, I wanted to shout out like Ruben for visiting you in Houston. How fun was that?
He drove all the way down. That's a longer drive. So Dallas to Houston is
That's his brother.
An hour, older brother. Longer than, you know, so he drove all the way down in traffic just to hang out with me for one night, and that was a lot of fun because it takes your mind off stuff. And like I said, the support I have from family, friends, John, you, everybody, like, you know, what more can you ask for? Like, they're
totally.
And some people think they're not. I think we talked about this on the first episode. Not doing enough. That's the thing I get which is surprising.
Isn't it weird?
From the people who support you the most, they feel like they don't support you enough, and from the people that don't really show you any support, feel like you're supporting a lot.
Yeah, it's so mixed. Like,
so like today, 3 people are like, I feel like I'm not doing anything for you. I'm like, man, what are you talking about? Like, you're just you ask me questions, you talk to me, you get work stuff done, blah blah blah.
And we have to reiterate, because this came up over the weekend too when you were gone. Mm-hmm. Sending a text when something like this happens to somebody you know, you can't go too generic with a text. The text itself, it could be like something stupid. It could be just a emoji. Like, just that you're connecting to that other, you're sending a connection means the world.
Yeah.
And so don't doubt yourself when you're like, oh, they're too busy. Oh, they don't want to hear from me. Oh, I don't want to burden them. Yeah. Oh, I don't want to be too much. I don't want to do this. Or they have support already. Like they're good. Like you have to send it.
For example, like there's 3 people in Dallas who are older than me who like you consider your older brothers. Mm-hmm. I haven't talked to them in a very long time. They're from Houston. One of them from Dallas. And little by little, some of them are finding out, which is completely fine. And immediately, I haven't talked to them in years, but we just grew up together and they kind of helped raise me a little bit. Mm-hmm. One of them, I stayed at their house for rotations. He texted me this morning. Oh, wow. And it's like, I haven't talked to you in years, but it's like, we're talking like, that's just kind of person like I am or they are. Like, it's like we never left.
Right.
But, like that means so much, like praying, like thinking about you, like if we can, and when they say, if I can do anything for you, I know they would.
Right. You know? Yeah. Sure. Like,
yeah. You know, you're grateful for that.
Yeah. It really puts a different emphasis on what support means when you really do need support like this. And I think a lot of people, again, don't have these conversations of what does support look like when you really need it? Yeah. And hopefully, God willing, you never need it to this level that we're going through, but take it from us now that we're the ones who are going through it, that like you would be nowhere without support in so many different levels. Like obviously me and you are the ultimate support, but then it's like the next level is family and close friends. And then even the next level of like coworkers, people you don't talk to, like your person that you haven't talked to in years, even that means so much. Yeah, it's so impactful to feel support, which I think people get confused for. That means I have to start a new relationship with them now. Or like, that means I have to text them every single day and I don't want to commit to that. It's like, no, like that one text, that one phone call, an email, acknowledging it too, I think is a big deal too. Like that shows support tenfold when you're in an experience like this. Yeah. And generically, when it's like, oh, my great grandmother died, and you send praying for you, that's not the support. That feels different than the support with stuff like this. So just remember, like it's different and it's needed too. Yeah. Okay, let's get into the CEO stuff. Yep. So
you want to go first?
About what?
Your stuff with...
No. Like, we can talk about you.
I can stop looking at myself in the camera.
Okay.
Keep like peeking over there.
We've created a monster. Yeah. No, so this whole time, since it's March, so this whole time, Rib has not... we haven't talked about this huge venture that we're going to get into in April because he didn't disclose that he was leaving his current job to do this stuff, but he did last week.
I did.
When did you tell your boss?
I did not last week. The Friday before last week. Okay. And I was holding off because you just want to be sure about things and you just want to make the right thing. And should I say who I'm working for? No, right? No. But like the people I work for are completely awesome. Phone ran out of battery, but completely awesome. And like, they've just been so supportive, and especially my boss has been completely supportive. And so I just wanted to make sure I'm making the right decision. So I told him on a Friday.
That's exciting. You were so nervous.
I was so nervous because he's such a nice guy, and I didn't know how was he going to react. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
If he got pissed, I'd have been like, well, fuck you then.
Yeah, they were like, I'm leaving. Good thing I'm leaving.
But when I spoke with him, I think he kind of knew what I was going to talk about. But when I was just mentioning, like, I don't know what the future holds. I don't know. I just had to put my family in the best position possible. And this other job is offering me that. Mm-hmm. And I started tearing up because I was like, man, he was just so nice. Yeah. And nice, like, just asking me questions, not even asking, like, where am I going? Is this the right decision? Just like, how's your family? How's your son? When do you go next? Where's radiation? Just the questions that don't have anything to do with me saying I'm planning on leaving. Right. And
he got it. Yeah.
He got it. And I swear he started tearing up too.
Yeah. It's a big deal. Yeah. He liked you a lot.
Yeah. Even today, like I saw him today. We were walking into the same spot. Yeah, we're walking to the same spot and pulls me aside and we're walking together. He's like, tell me everything about the chemo. What is it? Mm-hmm. When do you get it? When do you start? And that's what makes leaving the job hard is like, how often do you find people like that?
I know.
But
I think you outgrew that a little bit, which Rib tends to do quicker than most because he's incredibly proficient and efficient with what he does in terms of quickly setting up systems, people, managing people is a gift that Rib has.
I've been blessed too. Like,
so it's time. So tell everybody where, not the name, but like what you're getting into. And then we can go back to when you interviewed.
Yeah, I'm a physical therapist, and that's where I started. And I did, outpatient therapy, sports, and I did Omega Sports and Recovery, and
your own cash-based practice,
cash-based physical, which was the first in San Antonio at the time.
Yeah, it did really well.
And
it was super
John
fun.
Was a big
That's
help.
how we met John.
That's how we met John. That was a big help. We tell the story about how we already told the story how I met John, but that was a big help. Met him, and then figured out, hey, home health is probably more lucrative. Became a director of therapy at a home health, doing home health for years.
Right.
Formed relationships there. Somebody sent me this ad for this current job I'm at. Was here. Didn't know anything about this director position.
Right. It was a bigger director role.
Yeah, and luckily learned, had great people teach me, and luckily did great too. And then every job I've had, that's been the crazy part, is I never looked for a job.
I was just telling John that yesterday. Like all of your jobs have been by people referrals. Yeah.
Like even talking about Mission Physical Therapy, you found that one.
For you, yeah.
And I was, not that I wasn't looking for a job, but you were like, hey, this is here. And I was like, yeah, why not? And then from there,
it's just a testament to the people, like the connections you make, the people you are good. You're good people are good people, and they take care of you, and you're very impactful because you're so good at what you do that people remember you too, which is how you got this future one you're going to.
And that's how everything's been, like you said, like,
right.
And so this new job is, a friend referred me, and they flew me out to Utah, and I did this whole 8-hour interview process in Utah, which was amazing. This was
right before you found out you had
the week before I figured I had cancer. And
it was just Graves' disease at that point.
Yeah. And met amazing people on that trip that now I'm lifelong friends with.
Yes. It's just so serendipitous.
Like I got into a random Uber with a guy, and we went to dinner, and we did the whole thing, and we talk all the time.
The random guy was interviewing as well.
Yeah. And out of all that, got chosen out of 150 people.
That's crazy.
Yeah. To
I'm
lead.
I'm so proud of my baby.
Yeah, I appreciate it. To lead, hopefully a home health here in San Antonio, which I don't know what it is yet, but. And have the opportunity to do whatever I want with it. Like,
so you would be, so that's where the CEO comes in. Your title or your role is going to be CEO of this entity.
Yeah. And possibilities are endless, and that's, hopefully for future time, we could talk about some things that could work out. But that's where we're at today, is hopefully in April, May time, I'll start there at this new company, kind of go through training to learn kind of the best practices and best things that I don't know. I'm sure there's a lot of things I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. I think
it's so, again, a testament to the people but also like the Rib has always had, where do you think you've had that entrepreneurial, never settle spirit from?
Yeah, that's a good question. 'Cause like they asked me that in the interviews in Utah, and what I said was, it just came out, and I think it's true. So like my great grandfather was in India. I don't know if I told you the story. Did I tell you this mountain story?
I don't know.
So I guess we could talk about it here.
Sure.
Yeah. So I didn't know this till last week. Don't know a lot about my grandparents, but I kind of found a lot. My great grandparents and grandparents are all in India. They had nothing. And in India, this is my understanding. My dad told me, like, in Kerala, like they didn't buy land, they bought mountains.
Okay.
So like my great grandfather bought a mountain and a half. Like I think it's literally like a mountain. And the mountain is full of trees, which are like rubber trees, which you can
you told me
tap into and produce rubber, and sell the rubber off. And there's other fruits and cows and all that shit there. And so my great grandfather gave, each of the boys half a mountain, some shit like that, some weird like thing. My grandfather then, on his half, built a farm that was very profitable. Mm-hmm. Got enough money and bought the other portions of land from his brothers, and was just making rubber, and people in the community would come out and buy whatever's on that he was farming, Mm-hmm. So that was that. And then, that money he sent my dad to college. Mm. And then at the same time as this all was happening, my mom's side, who wasn't as well off, there was one daughter who was very smart, went to nursing school there, and there was like a nursing shortage in the U.S. Mm-hmm. This is my understanding of the whole thing. And she came to the U.S. and was like, I'm going to bring all 8 brothers and sisters with me to the United States. My mom married my dad through an arranged marriage. So my mom and dad came over at the same time.
Right.
I don't know. I think I'm going too long. Am I taking too long?
No, that's fine.
So my mom and dad.
I'm like, and then what happened?
Came over at the same time. They all lived together in the same house. The question is, what's my entrepreneurial spirit? They all lived together at the same house. Mm-hmm. All 8 brothers and sisters. Somehow, from this mountain story all the way to coming to the U.S., they don't know English. I mean, can you imagine?
No,
like, you don't know anything about the United States.
And you're very traumatized from that.
And it's the 80s, too, and I'm sure racism is still prevalent.
Oh, 100%.
You have these
Where are you taking our jobs?
And these Indian people who talk like this, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like a little accent.
Well, and they're probably so traumatized from the journey to come to America.
Yeah. And my dad took a job. Do you remember the story?
Yeah.
My dad took a job as a mechanic fixing 18-wheelers. My dad don't know a damn thing about 18-wheelers. He was like, sometimes I would just be in there.
Oh, yeah. He's like
just like, get the oil in there, put the filter in there.
That's right.
Like, yeah, it's like, that's right. Like, as a mechanic trying to make money, and my mom's going to school at the same time, and then they have Ruben, and all the brothers just are having kids. And it's like, so you're telling me random people came from India here, do nothing, started as a mechanic, and then had 2 kids, were able to send them to school, to college, and you have that, then you have
but like medical school for Ruben, killing and like
or create an environment like buy a house, buy a house that gets robbed, mm-hmm. where everything gets taken out. People literally my dad always tells a story like they took VHS tapes.
Yeah.
And like they shit in the toilet and like they're like, I'm gonna shit in the toilet and not flush it.
Yeah, and just so like fucking rude and like violating.
Yeah. They're able to buy that house. Somebody robbed it. They're able to move to the next house and then, move to the house they're currently in.
Yeah.
So buy houses, successful, send us to college. And so while that's going on, my brother then starts like his entrepreneurial spirit where he's like selling HID kits that ship from China to Dallas, and
like what in the 2000s.
Yeah, me and him are spray painting boxes, and he comes up with the name for it, and he collects enough money to pay for his wedding ring and stuff, something like that. So like I'm surrounded by it,
right?
And then you
just didn't know
doing the baby PT, and then you have people.
Well, I only started the baby PT because you pushed you. Lit a fire in me because of I don't even know if it's entrepreneurial. I think it is, but I think it's more so the hustle that you have because it's like it's your family. It's like your generational family tie is just, and I think that's a lot with first generation immigrants is like they either hustle or they literally like die, know?
And so like everyone
around me. So
it's
just passed on into you. Yeah.
Yeah. Everyone around me is that way. And so I think just learning from that way. I
think you're a little different though, because I think you saw being a PT is not it.
Yeah.
And that is where you and your parents differ because that's stability for a lot of generations is like, what do you mean you don't want to be a PT anymore?
Yeah.
Or a doctor anymore or a lawyer anymore. You went to school for this. Like I worked so hard to get you here. Yeah. And for you to say, wait, trust me, I can make and do more with my life than treating 8 to 5, 60,000 patients a day, being double booked and overworked and underpaid.
Yeah.
I can do more.
Yeah.
And that's where you have a little bit of a difference in perspective. I don't know why, but I'm very appreciative for it, obviously.
I think if you're becoming a PT, like still become a PT, but you got to come with understanding. Like, I worked at my first outpatient job. This is when I know I was like, things are fucked up. Yeah. I worked at my first outpatient job, and we learned, sports medicine. Like, I went to multiple
manual
courses,
therapy,
went to all this kind of stuff, like to where I could be the best practitioner. What's the first thing they told me was like, why are you discharging this patient too early? Keep him for another 3 weeks. Yeah. Bill him 2 more units.
It was because insurance reigns.
Like, he feels good. Like, I learned to get these patients better and get them out.
Yeah.
But you're asking me to...
We were like so bamboozled, which I'm sure a lot of practitioners... Hoodwinked, bamboozled. When you come out of this like prestigious school and you're getting your doctorate and you're like, the shit, and then you work for a year and you're like, it's exhausting, and like insurance literally ruins everything, but you need it and all of that stuff, and then you're supposed to do this till you retire. What? Like
I know people that I work with that have been PTs for 55 years, and
you're their boss,
and that and it's like, or they've been PTs for 30 years, and it's like they've seen all the changes, the reimbursements, and they always have to adjust, and they always have to be like hear about pay cuts and worry about layoffs and like consultants coming in and like this and that. And I'm like, I ain't gonna be like that if I get to live that long. Like, no, hell no.
I think we just saw that very quickly of like, we're so grateful for being PTs and like grateful for our parents, getting us here and doing the work, like my mother too. But it's a new thing, I think, where it's like, I don't want to live my life like this till we retire. And I don't want to retire so dang late either.
Like your mom too, right? Like she was in pharmacy school with, how old was?
With my sister, a baby. Yeah, my mom had a
during
really
pharmacy school
hard. Yeah, single. Like
single with the baby.
Left. Like in the 70s when all the dads were like, peace out, this is too much work. Like, I want to go live my life. And there was a bunch of divorced young women, and she just got picked. Like, she was good at chemistry. Somebody saw something in her in high school.
Couldn't imagine having Julian and going through PT school.
No. And and then she's working weekends as a pharmacy tech, and like grinding it out, like literally doing the damn thing. And so she built such a good life for herself, and then for my siblings, and I kind of took in her footsteps going to school in that regard and in that medical field. So I remember initially especially when she met you, and then like the influence you had on me of like, this might not be kind of like what we want to do forever. At first, I think any parent would be like, wait, what about your insurance? Like, you're not going to have stable income. Like, what are y'all going to do? You're going to, and then you tell them like social media, and that's just like, what? I mean, luckily my mom was very understanding and has always been supportive of both you and I. Like, she was your number one fan with Omega. She said she'll work for me. She's like,
I'll work there. I'll go to the office.
I think because she just sees it too.
I mean, she gave me her car. I mean, I didn't have to buy a car. She gave me her Camry that she could have traded in and bought another one, but she's like, you can have this.
Right. And so just those little steps have been really helpful, and people have been helpful. But back to kind of the CEO stuff, like, how are you feeling going into that? That's going to be soon.
Yeah, I'm excited. I think there's nothing that I fear about the CEO thing, because, I mean, I feel like with prayer and if I got to this point doing the things I have, praying the way I have all the faith that I can be great as CEO. I'm building up strength to know that I can do it with chemo and everything going on.
Right. I think that's going to be something we'll just take it day by day. Yeah. And like, if we need more support, we get more support. If you need me to, I don't know. We'll figure it out.
And like, speaking of good people, like even with this new job, I told him, and you were there when I told him too, this is what's going to happen. I'm going to be doing chemo. I have to make multiple trips to Houston. Right. I have to do all these things.
And they've been very supportive.
They're like, okay, like we chose you. You're the one. I was like, damn. I was like, shit.
Yeah, I think it's a really cool, it's just like a really good opportunity, because it's finally something where you're going to be rewarded for doing the work. Yeah. So Rib has always had a track record of changing whole systems and making them so much more profitable, better. Like retention is better, morale is better, and he just has that gift. Yeah. but it's capped out. Like they don't want to, in terms of the pay, the compensation. So like, and not necessarily with this job, but like, it's always been this thing of like, we want you to do more.
Yeah.
But we can't compensate
because I'm classified as a PT
for doing
there's
more
a range for a
because
PT.
you're a PT and you cap yourself with being a PT.
Yeah.
Not anybody has ever said, well, let me not call you a PT and give you the salary or give you the compensation of an administrator, a director, a business, more in that kind of field. So this is finally the job that they literally said, you're not going to be a PT anymore.
Yeah.
Like you can't be treating patients here and there. You're the CEO. Like you can't be doing that.
Yeah. I mean, but that's the thing too. Like if I have to, I need to. Like it's on me, which I like.
Yeah. It's all on you. And I think that's so cool because you're not limited by other people, which I feel like a lot of people will resonate with that for sure because it's only up to you. You got to hire and fire, which you've done for a long time, and like build a really great team, acquire different companies as well. And it's going to be really cool. I think you're going to thrive. And I think nothing's going to slow you down. I don't think the chemo will slow you down. I think we know already kind of like how to pivot.
Yeah. And
that's just what we'll do.
For sure.
Is pivot and make it work for sure. Yeah. So I think it's going to be really good. And let's, what time is it? Yeah, let's wrap it up because we got to do.
Wrap it up.
We got to do a shoot for this.
They want me in white.
The C Word Chronicles. Yeah, you can't do dark colors because your skin's too dark. And then they
said the camera looks crispy.
Other interracial couples. Yeah. Do y'all ever have a hard time like in photos, exposure wise, like? Sometimes Rib comes across so shadowy and dark, and then like we need like different exposures and different brightnesses.
No,
so
I'm a little caramel.
Yeah,
a little burnt caramel.
So we're gonna have to figure it out, but we're gonna get all of these like dope photos for the C Word Chronicles podcast. Yeah. We're gonna be launching this. Like,
I'm excited. Hopefully, I like it.
Hopefully, everybody's like. I just forget. So many people don't know that you have cancer. Like, none of my followers know like what we've been going through. Really your family and friends, my friend, like nobody knows. So, hopefully it's received well. And
better be shit.
What if they're like, cancel this immediately?
Cancel.
Yeah. So we're going to get the photos going. Make sure to follow us on the C Word Chronicles podcast on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Yeah. Like and subscribe on YouTube. But if you're listening audio on like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, make sure you give us a 5-star reviews. On that means a big deal. Getting high reviews on podcasts is really imperative to grow. So make sure you're giving us 5 stars. Leave a really great review. We would love good feedback as well. Anything y'all want to see or hear from.
And if you want ASMR, let me know.
Okay, this guy. Oh, that's disgusting. Okay, so we'll see y'all next week for episode 6. Bye, guys.